On the morning of December 2nd, 1979, firefighters in New York City were called to the Travel Inn Motor Hotel near Times Square. Responding to a room filled with thick smoke, the first responders broke through the door, hoping to rescue anyone trapped inside. However, as they entered room 417, they discovered a scene so horrifying that it would haunt them long after the flames were extinguished. Lying on the beds were two decapitated bodies. One of the victims was identified as 22-year-old Didi Gudarzi, an Iranian immigrant who worked as a prostitute. The other victim, also a woman, has never been identified and is estimated to have been between 16 and 22 years old. Both women had been tortured for days and eventually strangled to death. Afterward, the killer removed their heads and hands, possibly to hinder the identification of the bodies. The killer then set the bodies and the room on fire to further obstruct the investigation, and it worked. The case eventually went cold. Months later, on May 5, 1980, the body of 19-year-old Valerie Ann Street, also a sex worker, was found at the Quality Inn in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey. Street had been killed, and her body was stuffed under the bed, where it was later found by housekeeping. Investigators discovered that Street had been handcuffed and gagged with white adhesive tape. Her body was covered with multiple bite marks and had minor knife incisions on her breasts. Days later, on May 15th, the body of another sex worker, 25-year-old Mary Ann Jean Rayner, was discovered at the Seville Hotel in New York City. Rayner's throat had been cut, and her breasts had been removed. The murderer left her severed breasts on the headboard of the bed. A week later, police were once again called to the Quality Inn Motel in Hasbrook Heights, responding to cries for help coming from one of the rooms. Inside, they found 18-year-old Leslie Ann Odell, bound with handcuffs and brutally tortured, but still alive. Her attacker, 33-year-old Richard Cottingham, tried to escape, but was quickly arrested. Cottingham tried to talk his way out of the assault by stating he had paid for this service and that he was not trying to kill her. However, detectives were convinced that they had just apprehended the man responsible for the previous murders. Further investigation confirmed this, linking Cottingham to the murders through fingerprints. Officials obtained a search warrant for Richard Cottingham's New Jersey home, uncovering a trophy room filled with souvenirs from his victims, souvenirs that linked him to multiple murders across New Jersey and New York City. Along with these homicides, Cottingham was implicated in numerous abductions and rapes of prostitutes, whom he drugged, tortured, and abused in New Jersey motels. Cottingham was initially convicted in 1984 of 5 murders and 3 assaults, and was sentenced to life in prison. However, he later confessed to many more killings. He was convicted of 6 murders committed between 1972 and 1980 in New York, and in New Jersey, he was convicted of 12 murders committed between 1967 and 1978. Nicknamed by the media as the Torso Killer and the Times Square Ripper, Cottingham has since claimed to have killed more than 100 women across the United States. However, these claims have not been confirmed. He is currently serving a 937-year prison sentence at Southwood State Prison in Bridgeton, New Jersey.
67. 60, maybe the end of 66. 67.
It's a lot of years of running around.
A lot of states still.
Yeah. Do you have a number in your head that you think? Did you ever sit back and think about it?
It's sad to say I couldn't count that high. They start to get jumbled. I would say there's well over 80.
You think that many?
Well over. I've done some in Florida, Connecticut, a lot in New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Baltimore. Any place within driving distance that was not connected to me, I would try.